You know, if you look up at the sky and pay attention to the clouds, you'll see that they're moving slowly. But if you speed things up, you realize that there's a life force of movement that is out of sync with what we realize our movement to be. And it's the same with a tree. What is it about an ancient old tree that allows it to live for such a long, long time? What is that life force? Now, this property has an old water tower, which used to be the most important part of the water supply of the house. And there is an old avocado. It's not a huge avocado, but at one time, I'm sure it was a rather significant tree. The water tower dates back to 1912, so this tree could easily be over 100 years old. But why is it still surviving? It has so much decay. It is so rotted. It is so hollow. You thump the sides of this tree, it's like playing a drum. The client said, you know, I love the fact that it still bears fruit. Can you save the tree? And when I first looked at the tree, I didn't get in there and look at it real close. I looked at it from a distance, and you'll see in a little bit here what the tree looked like. That's what I saw, some dead wood sticking out, and I said, yeah, sure, we'll kind of bring it down, and I'll get that dead wood out of there. And she said, great. And then she took off, and I went over and I looked at it close. I thought, holy crap, there's no way anybody's going to climb this tree. You can see right through it at the top there. And that stem up there was so hollow, there was nothing else to tie into. And then I started realizing that there was ancient artifacts. So this old property was likely an old farm property. It's all been renovated and turned into a modern day beautiful home. And all of a sudden I started seeing things. And boy, whoever made that cut, didn't they get lucky? Look at that. That's an ancient old cut, you know, that exposed some of the stuff in the tree. And there's a couple of cables up there. There's one that's been broken off, and there's this one that's still intact. But the cable, I could pull it out. It's doing absolutely nothing. It's rotted out. It's completely hollow. But the tree still bears fruit. There's avocados up there right now. Small ones. There's a few. Unfortunately, the squirrels seem to attack them. But the new owner of the property, they haven't even been there a year. They love the fact that this tree has history and it's a survivor. And, you know, so I've got to take that into consideration. You know, a lot of people would look at this hollow old rotten carcass and say, just get rid of it. But that life force, that ability to survive with all this decay, you know, it got me to thinking about the bristlecone pines way up in the high Sierras, and why do they survive? Why are some of those trees thousands of years old? So I want to talk a little bit about ladders. First off, I think everybody has seen the YouTube videos of the guy climbing the ladder and making a cut, and the branch comes down and sweeps the bottom of the ladder, and the guy falls down. I mean, you know, internet is full of accidents on ladders. Well, this is a situation where I sure as hell was not going to climb this tree. There was nothing to tie into. You couldn't get any equipment back here. So the ladder was my best option. But making a big cut, that could have easily been made wrong and swung into the bottom of the ladder. But you know what? I've got somebody holding the bottom of the ladder. I also wanted to take note that there's no way that I would tie myself to that branch. And in the event that the branch broke while I was up there, my options would have been better for me not to be attached to all that weight. So, yeah, there's a certain amount of risk to my business, and you have to do it with caution, with concern, with care, and really think it out. So I was able to do this safely. You know, all my weight was on the ladder, and it was leaning lightly on the top of this. And I was able to get to other parts of the tree. I sped it up a little bit there because it was kind of a long, slow process. The power of editing. You can take a job and turn it into something really fun to watch. I love to edit. So let's get back to the tree. There were some old artifacts and old parts of this tree that really told a story. This particular through bolt had two cables attached to it. It had the really, really old one, which didn't look very professional, and a replacement. That's a back-spliced common 7-strand cable there. It doesn't have a thimble on it, but it looks like a pretty serious splice there. Somebody did a good job of it. And what's kind of interesting is there is a washer on the inside there, which makes me think that this must have been hollow for a long time, or that was the washer that was on the outside and the decay rotted out all the way up to the washer on the inside. I don't know. But when you read it, you can see where there were old wounds and there was old areas. You can see the curling of the cambium tissue that went around the spot that they put the cable. And here's another part of the tree which was also very sketchy. I'm up in the air about 20 feet or so, which I could still hurt myself. I was nervous. I'll be honest with you. I was nervous up here, and I took my time and really took it easy. All in all, the tree turned out okay. So there was another tree in the front yard that I got to that was also an interesting tree. It was a valley oak. And I wanted to show you these little tiny cones here. They're so cool. I only find these are leaf galls. This particular type of leaf gall, I only find it on valley oaks. I'm not going to go into leaf galls, but they're very, very interesting. I have a whole book in my office on leaf galls. And there's stem galls, there's branch galls, there's a lot of galls. I can't believe I just said that. That was stupid. Well, in any case, the client was very receptive to how to improve the health of her yard. And chips are so important. Bringing back the biological, organic matter to the yard instead of blowing it all away is something that I cannot emphasize enough. But she had this beautiful paved driveway, these pavers, and I suggested she go out and buy a tarp. And it was close. We were able to dump all the chips on the pavers. And by putting the tarp down, it shouldn't stain the pavers, especially if she gets it done quickly. But there was some stuff that would not be very attractive, including these banana trees. Boy, they were just full of water. They were easy to chip, but the chip quality that comes out of stuff like this, cactus and ivy, and there's all kinds of things that really degrade the quality of the chip load. So we have a self-feeding chipper. I've actually got 3 self-feeding chippers. They're all getting pretty old, but everything I've got is getting pretty tired, including me. I'm getting up there as well. But as long as I keep everything going, I'm going to keep this business going strong. So that's what the tree looked like from the top. This is the valley oak. A little bit of an overview of the area. There's a big vacant lot right next door to her house that has been sold. New house is going in there. Thanks for watching.